Given that the coefficient of expansion for steel is 13 times 10 to the minus 6 inverse Kelvin, and a particular square metal sheet is 50 centimeters to a side, by how much would the area shrink if the temperature dropped by 10 Kelvin? So I think the appropriate formula to use for this one would be the area expansion formula. So delta A, and this one has that 2 in it, kind of for the 2 dimensions, right? So 2 alpha A delta T. And in this case, I think I can just read off from what's presented in the problem how to put numbers into this. First one's kind of easy. 2 is 2, right? Multiplied by 13 times 10 to the minus 6 inverse Kelvin. And I like to keep units for these because it's a relatively straightforward calculation, and units will really save you if you mess something up, so it's good to have them. The area I have here, since this is described as a square metal sheet that is 50 centimeters to a side, the area of a square is length times length, or length squared. So I'm just going to write that as 50 centimeters and then just square that. So that's basically, that is what I'm putting in for the area of this square metal sheet. And if you said, hey, should I do it in meters and meters squared 0.5, that's okay, you can do that. There's no rule saying that you have to do it in one unit or another. I've chosen to work with centimeters. I think it's going to turn out okay. And then for the temperature change, maybe for that, since we're talking about a temperature drop, I'm actually going to write that as minus 10 Kelvin. And now units wise, we can see that the Kelvins units cancel. So whatever number my calculator reports for this, it should be in centimeters squared. And that's good because that is a unit. It's maybe not in base units, but it is a unit of area. So I get for this minus 0.65 centimeters squared. The way the question is worded, though, since it says by how much would the area shrink, I mean, I was very literal, I think, in the way I tracked all the signs through this, but since it's saying by how much would the area shrink, I could just say, therefore, there is 0.65 centimeters squared. Maybe if I want to be brief, I'll just say that's the amount of shrinkage. I think it's okay, an okay word, right? If it's not, I'm making it up now. I think it's okay, though. But that makes it clear the context in which I should interpret that final answer. The slide just says 0.65 centimeters squared. And this is definitely an issue I've seen come up where some people would insist, oh, this should have a negative on it. But there is kind of this interpretive aspect. So the way the question was phrased, I thought it was most appropriate to write this as a positive. But if this were something that I were grading by hand and somebody had written just this as their answer, I would probably look at that and just recognize how they were looking at it and say that's okay.